The great North American America eclipse today. America. And I don't feel any different.
I don't either. Maybe we have to die first.
Maybe. Everything I've ever learned from sci-fi is not real. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Pop Culture Cult. I'm Sean.
I'm Janice.
And this is episode 40.
Oh. Starting to get old.
No, we're not old.
Oh, okay.
It's just a number. At least that's what I keep telling myself. Mm-hmm. I'm moving a little slower nowadays. I don't know what happened.
It's the eclipse.
It's the eclipse. That's what it is. I totally knew it was something. We have two big reviews that we're going to do this week. Defenders and Sense8. And then we got a whole bunch of other random news and notes and stuff that we found interesting, at least this week. But the big uber super... I should have worn my Star Wars shirt. Is we are getting Obi-Wan Kenobi standalone film.
Yay!
So now there's rumors of spoilers. I don't know. There's rumors of other standalones in the works. Yoda, Boba Fett,
or
Jabba the Hutt.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily want those. I'll see them. I mean, I'm going to see them. I'll probably love them.
Right.
But Kenobi's the one I've wanted.
Yes.
Even more than Han Solo. Kenobi was my guy. Are you... I know we're excited about it, but how do you feel about them doing another standalone?
I'm okay with them doing another standalone, and I'm happy that it's Obi-Wan Kenobi, and because we like Ewan McGregor and we liked him
right
as
he's actually one of the high points of the prequels.
Yeah, and hopefully they introduce some new characters which will allow them to maybe go this way instead of this way.
Yeah, there was no rumor or anything, but one of the things they talked about on Jedi Council last week was this would be a great point to do a live action Ahsoka. Have Ahsoka be with Obi-Wan, and make Vader the bad guy, so Obi-Wan has to go fight him one last time before he becomes the full-on hermit.
And Ahsoka was Anakin's
Padawan, yeah.
So yeah, that would make sense.
It would make a lot of sense if that was a storyline. I don't necessarily know if that's what the story is. Secretly, I've been wanting, or not secretly, I've been pretty public about. I want an Ahsoka movie. She's probably the one quote unquote Jedi's that I identify with the most. Qui-Gon was another one that I really identified with because he was his own man within the structure of everything, and Obi-Wan became his own man. But Ahsoka got all the training, did all the stuff, and then realized this is not for me. But yet she still does the right thing, and she still fights the good fight, and she uses the skills that she got as a Jedi, but she's just not a Jedi.
Right.
She wasn't given a little piece of paper saying you're a magical knight now. I have a piece of paper that says I'm a magical knight. It doesn't get me anything. Not even discounts to movies and shit.
Don't they know who you are?
I spent a lot of money to get that fucking piece of paper.
We spent a lot of money to get a different piece of paper.
We spent a lot of money getting several pieces of paper, and we still don't get discounts for shit. No. But we're super excited about it. They're actually they're in talks with Stephen Dale to direct it. He is a character director. All of his pieces are character-driven movies, so that's kind of an interesting pick. Not really... Again, Kathleen Kennedy and Lucasfilm kind of going against the flow, not hiring a big name guy, he's not official yet. He's
right,
but if that's the direction they're gonna go.
Hopefully, this one goes better than the last two.
You had to bring up the bad stuff.
Sorry.
They announced last week too that they're gonna do. This is a different story, but it's also movie based. That they're going to go to a $10 a month movie pass, movie subscription service or whatever. So you spend $10 a month and you can go see one movie a day. every day of the month
Yep.
at whatever theater you want.
Yep, just not like IMAX or 3D.
Right.
But special engagement movie just came out. You can go see it.
Yeah. AMC and Regal are two of the main movie theaters that are involved in the process. For us here locally, we have AMC and Harkins. We have a few Regals on our side of the valley, but not. I think there's the one over down the road.
Yeah, it's pretty far.
Yeah, but most of the time we do AMC or Harkins. Harkins is a family-owned theater here in town. In fact, we went and saw Lucky Logan at Harkins this weekend.
We did.
So they crashed the website. The subscription has been $50 a month, and then they announced at $10 a month, and then the website crashed. And they don't know how long it's going to last. But we've talked about this a lot over the last week about is it really worth it?
Yeah.
It would be $20 a month for us because we both have to buy our own. But
yeah, I mean, I think it is, but so one of the things that I read was that the reason that they can kind of get away with this is that they were bought by basically a marketing company.
Right.
And so you're kind of agreeing, I guess, to be part of their marketing. You know, they're going to use your information, your movie watching,
right,
for marketing. So, I mean, personally, I guess I'm okay with that.
We're kind of already doing that with
care.
Stardust, and I mean everything is about trying to sell you something, right? I mean that's
right.
TV, movies, radio, that was all made to sell advertising.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I mean, you want to use the fact that a woman my age went and saw movie X. Okay,
right,
whatever. I don't care.
Right.
You gonna let me go see as many movies as I want for $10 a month?
We saw Logan Lucky this weekend. And then I also wanted to see Hitman's Bodyguard. Yeah. This would have been one of those weekends where we would have seen 2 movies in a weekend because we could have.
Yeah.
And there's like stuff that's coming up like the Starship Troopers anime thing. I would love to see that in the theater.
And we went and saw the 5 Doctors, the riff tracks.
Yeah.
That was at an AMC, so that would be included.
Yeah. So that kind of stuff, the special engagement stuff that they do. What was I watching? God, I can't remember who it was. Collider's doing one, but they're doing like, these special one-off screenings of Jurassic Park, or it's not cult classics, but we have cult classics here. But it's that kind of one-off engagement of Jurassic Park or RoboCop or something like that.
Yeah.
And that would be kind of cool to do. The Cinemark that we go to is the other big theater around here. They do those special engagement ones all the time. So, but definitely something we're going to look into because, if we're going to do this thing and do movie reviews and stuff on a regular basis, it'd be nice to be able to see more movies at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Talking about movies, we watched an 8-hour movie this weekend over 2 days because we had stuff to do and it's football season. Yes, we were watching Cleveland Browns preseason during dinner. Just
it's bad.
And it's bad when we but we watched Defenders this weekend.
We did.
With
everyone else.
Like everyone else on the planet apparently. We're going to do our best to do a spoiler-free review.
Okay.
Fingers crossed. I'll put this over here on my leg so
I mean, we might talk about
there's a couple things that you have to, that there's going to be a couple things that we're going to talk about that aren't too spoilery, but are kind of needed. So it was 8 episodes, and I want to talk about this first because this has been one of the things that we've been talking about a lot lately, is that we don't need 22 episodes or 25 episodes or 18 episodes. Keep it to 10, 12, 15, somewhere in that range. That makes a lot of sense. This was 8. 8 might have been too short.
Yeah, there were a couple of plot points, without giving anything away, that could have benefited from being extended a little bit.
A little more fleshed out and kind of worked out and stuff.
Yeah.
We both really liked Sigourney Weaver as the big bad.
Yeah.
I think she was a really, really good choice. Not the typical actor that you would see as as a villain.
Well, she's the villain in Paul. Spoilers.
Hey, she is the villain in Paul. She's the big guy. But she's Ripley. I never see her. She never comes across as a villain.
Right.
Which is why I love Paul so much, is because she is the villain, and I loved her as a villain here. They also did a really interesting things with her. This is gonna sound really weird, but with her wardrobe stuff.
Yeah.
The first few episodes, when you really don't know who she is, you know she's a bad guy, but you don't know who she is.
Right.
She wears white a lot.
Yeah.
And then there's a scene. It's not really a spoiler when Elektra shows back up. I mean, it was in all the previews, so it's not really a spoiler.
Right.
But when Elektra shows back up, she changes from wearing white. Actually, she takes her white coat off, and she has metallic colored clothes on underneath, and she wears metallic based colors the rest of the way.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of it was a cool thing. Like, I love it when they do stuff like that.
Yeah, it was subtle. I'm not real sure what the point of the metallics were.
Yeah,
but,
I don't know.
There was a lot of use of color in this. So
yeah,
also the colors with each of the defenders. So, Daredevil there's red things and
right. Everything was very muted with Jessica Jones,
right,
and Luke Cage. Although he wears the hoodie, it's lined in yellow, and so there's a lot of yellow stuff. And Danny Rand is very green kind of based and stuff, and so there's a lot of that like touch. And then like the office building hallway fight that they all had, it's very bright and very white and stuff. That was kind of a cool,
very well lit.
Yeah. I liked the way they handled. The first episode was, if you've never watched everything, and you've only watched the Defenders, here's all the characters, here's who they are, and then the next episode is them kind of coming together, and then they go forward.
Yeah.
And that was a nice touch.
Yeah.
It allowed you not to be forced to go watch the other ones to understand what's going on.
Right. And maybe you've only watched Jessica Jones or Daredevil and Luke Cage, or
right.
Yeah, there's 4 of them, and there's a lot of shows
and there's 2 seasons of Daredevil.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot there to take in. Now, we've watched everything because we love this stuff, but it was a nice thing, and the storyline itself was mostly about Matt Murdock as the Daredevil and Danny Rand as the Iron Fist.
Yeah.
The Jessica Jones and Luke Cage are in it, and they're important parts in it, but the storyline was really Iron Fist and Daredevil.
Yeah, because the big bad is the Hand,
right.
And that's an organization that Danny Rand and Matthew Murdock have
been fighting against forever, for everything. Right. I was really happy. Finn Jones, who plays Danny Rand, the Iron Fist, was really good this season.
Yeah, he's definitely worked on some stuff.
Yeah, he definitely picked up his game from the Iron Fist season. Not that we hated the Iron Fist season, but it's probably the lowest of the series so far.
And the fighting was a little disappointing, and
Iron Fist, yeah. It was really good in this one. There's a big fight at the end, and it's dark, so there's times where it's kind of hard to tell. But overall, did you like this season? Did you like this series?
I did. I liked. I liked the story. Again, a couple more episodes probably would have helped that out. I really liked. We both kind of commented on how it was shot.
Yeah.
Just
so well.
Yeah, the kind of direction that they went. If you've ever taken a cinema class or whatever, you see some of that. Like, there's a conversation between Matt Murdock and isn't it the blonde, when they're in the
I
cafe?
can't remember her name right now. Yeah.
And in the whole shot, the 2 of them are way over here, and then you see the rest of the cafe, and there was a lot of that kind of angles from down up, and
a lot of over the shoulder stuff, where you're watching the conversation over the shoulder of one of the participants in the conversation, and that person would sometimes move and float and kind of block the vision of the person you're looking at, and I appreciate all that kind of stuff. I thought it was really, really well done.
Yep.
I probably would put this first 2 seasons of Daredevil really hard. I mean, that second season of Daredevil is almost Game of Thrones, Breaking Bad level of good. It really is. But I would probably put it in the Luke Cage, Jessica Jones level.
Yeah.
Really good season, like you said. I think there's probably about episode and a half more that they probably could have done.
Yeah.
Not much more than that. But they're gonna do another season. They're already shooting Jessica Jones season 2. They've already greenlit Iron Fist 2 and Luke Cage 2.
Yep.
And we're getting Punisher in like 6 weeks or something like that.
Yeah,
it's something crazy.
Pretty soon. October, end of September, something like that.
It's a really easy. I'm going to preface this with this is a really easy watch. So it's definitely worth the sit down. You don't have to watch the other series. It's definitely worth the sit down. And if you like the Marvel universe, you're really going to like it. And it's not perfect, but that's okay. I really enjoyed it. I'm not disappointed we spent 8 hours watching it.
Nope.
So definitely worth it. It's on Netflix, so go check it. We Stardusted every episode as soon as we got done. So little 30-second reviews. Stardust is an app that you can download from your iOS for your iOS or from the Google Play, and you set up your account. It's completely free, and you do little 30-second at the most videos, and you want to review and react to something as you watch it. And we did every episode of Defenders. Please download the app, and when you do, follow the Pop Culture Cult first. And we're on there as the Pop Culture Cult is all squished together. One of the other things that we did Stardust of was we finally finished Sense8.
We had a bingey week.
We had a bingey week. Maybe some bingey drinking too. So Sense8, for those who don't know, it's also on Netflix. This is season 2. It's about 8 individual. Okay, I'm trying to explain this the best I can because it's complicated.
Yeah.
It's 8 individuals who are born at the exact same time around the planet, and they get to a certain age, and they all become self-aware of each other.
Aware of each other, yeah.
Aware of each other.
Yeah.
And they share one consciousness.
Yeah. And they are not Homo sapiens, right? They're sensapiens or something.
Homo sensiens or something like that. Yeah.
They're like a different
They're
breed.
They're the evolution.
Yeah.
Kind of thing. So the first season was really, really good. The way they handled everything, and then the second season we just finished, and I love this show. Part of the reason I love the show is because the actors, the creators, it's the Wachowski siblings right now, and they are not afraid of pushing the boundaries of anything.
Yeah. They deal with like sex and LBGT community and drugs and
crime and
politics and
corporate structure and corporate greed, and like they deal with a lot of, and nothing's off limits at all.
Yeah.
This season was a lot about, again, we're going to try to do a non-spoiler review. I don't even know if you could spoil this show because I'm pretty sure I have to watch about 4 more times before I fully get it.
Yeah.
But this season was about there's this big corporation that kind of is trying to track down all the Sense8s. The 8 individuals that are in the show are not the only ones that are like this. There's a whole, like she said, it's another whole
race of people.
And so there's this big corporation who are trying to track them down, and make them do what they want them to do.
Yeah.
And so it's them fighting against this big corporation.
Right.
Is the base storyline. Except there's 8 people from 8 different places around the world with 8 different upbringings and 8 different wants and needs and sexual orientations and socioeconomic standings, and so there's all of that stuff going on too.
Yep.
And it's just an amazing show.
Yep.
Not easy to watch.
No, you actually have to pay attention.
It's
because you're one place and then you're the next place, and there was a couple of times, that we were like, okay, is everyone that is currently on the screen actually physically there?
Yes.
Because it could just be that one of them is there and everyone else, because they kind of so suddenly they are in need of fighting prowess.
Right.
So there's a couple of them that can fight. There's a German guy who kind of
crime boss.
Belongs in the crime element, whatever. And then there's an Asian girl who I don't know if she's from Japan or maybe China.
Yeah.
And she is a badass. Like,
she's actually like a world class like kung fu fighter.
So one person could be involved in this fight, but he, the German guy could jump in, or the Asian girl could jump in, and there's a guy who was a cop, so if there's gunplay involved, then he'll jump in. And so, and sometimes all of them are on the screen at one time, but only one of them is actually
in the shot, actually in the location where they should be. Right. It gets confusing because the way the whole thing was shot is they took all 8 people, the entire cast and everybody, and went around the world and filmed everything on location, which is why it took 2 years to get done, is because they had to go all over the place, and then they have to edit this all together. And in one scene, they could be going back and forth between 3 or 4 different locations with several different people in that shot. And so keeping the big thing for me was like keeping the costumes right.
Yeah.
And they did a great job of keeping the costumes right and having everything,
Well, and the actors and actresses, you're acting out everything that will happen in that location and then getting on a plane and moving to the next place. So this stuff can be throughout the whole season,
right?
All the episodes. So it's completely out of context most of the time.
Right.
No idea what you're doing.
Keeping track of it's really, really hard.
Yeah.
And the entire cast is really well done. It's a bunch of people you've never seen before, except for one of the girls in the cluster. Is what they call the group of 8. Their cluster. Her girlfriend is Martha Jones.
Martha Jones.
Dr. Freema. Cannot remember, but she's the girlfriend. She's the only recognizable one, except for there are 2 reoccurring characters that happen. One was the Middle Eastern guy from Lost, and Daryl Hannah,
and she's the mother.
She's the mother of all
Sense8s.
Yeah, and so, but they're the only and Daryl Hannah's in it off in the back corner for 3 seconds, every 4th episode. It's really...
Yeah, she was in it much more this season than she was last season.
But the show itself is an amazing work of filming, of social commentary. I'm not really big into... I watch movies and do all this stuff for the fun and getting away from all the social bullshit that's going on. But this is a really good... And I hate it when movies throw it in my face. Or TV shows throw it in my face. They don't throw it in your face here. It's actually all part of the storyline.
Yeah.
And it makes complete sense.
And everybody is so happy in who they are, which I guess is what kind of makes it there's several gay couples, and it's just nice. They're all very happy with...
They're very happy and comfortable with who they are.
Yeah.
Even the German guy who's kind of a crime boss, he's very happy with who he is.
Yeah.
He's like, this is who I am, and I'm happy to be with you guys, and I'm here to help. And
yeah.
But he's
and even the guy from Mexico, who he's a film star in Mexico.
He's an action star in Mexico.
Star, and he comes out, and Mexico is very Catholic, and being gay in Mexico is, a big deal, and it was a big deal for him. But then when he does, you're very happy because it's a big deal.
And him, his elation of just like, fuck it, this is who I am. It's just awesome. And then there's a scene later where it's not really a spoiler, but him watching, was it From Here to Eternity? Yeah. And like eating popcorn and crying was just it was such a funny scene for how so sad he is.
He's he's a drama queen, and he ends up, after he comes out and now his career is ruined, and he spends like 3 days in bed watching sad movies
in this giant onesie, like button-up onesie, watching super sad movies, eating ice cream out of the carton and popcorn. It's hilarious. And his boyfriend and their groupie, I don't know what she is, like trying to help him get out. It's just a really funny scene, but it's a good point of how they're just here's social commentary or what's going on, but it's makes sense within the story, and everybody's happy and not happy, but you understand what I'm saying.
Yeah.
But definitely worth the watch. Definitely watch season 1. That's one of those shows you have to watch season 1, and then you have to watch season 2.
Yes.
And you probably need to watch season 1 maybe 2 or 3 times. And you need to watch season 2 maybe 2 or 3 times.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a review, go back and rewatch, kind of thing.
And the show was canceled.
So I didn't write it down, but yeah, they did cancel the show. It's super expensive to film and do because of what we talked about, and they kind of left it on a cliffhanger. And they announced that it got canceled, and the internet exploded.
Yeah.
And so Netflix agreed to pay for, I think it's 1 2-hour episode.
Yeah.
And
finish it all up.
Lana Wiskowski was on doing a live stream on Facebook with like 3 or 4 members of the cast, pretty much thanking everybody for pretty much coming out and helping. It's very difficult. As much as Netflix is experimental in this stuff, they have to have some return on it, and Sense8 is one of those shows that it will be another 4 or 5 years before people really understand how awesome this show is.
Yeah, it just never got the buzz. I mean, the people that like it love it.
Yeah,
but it never got the buzz like Defenders or Jessica Jones or
Stranger Things or Ozark or something like that. Yeah.
And so I think that's probably what they need people to go, oh, I don't have Netflix and I want to watch this, so now I'm going to get Netflix.
Right.
Although, seriously, is there anyone out there that doesn't have Netflix at this point?
I don't know. And of all of our friends, I think we're the only ones who have watched Sense8.
Yeah. The kids have watched it.
Okay, the kids have watched it. So
because I have progressive kids. You're welcome.
Because we trained them properly. So definitely watch Sense8 because we would love to see some more. We had this awesome episode of Game of Thrones last night. We did a full review, and we had technical difficulties. We still posted it, but we really didn't realize how bad it was till today. Our quick spoiler-free review of this episode called Beyond the Wall was, oh my fucking God, it was awesome.
I don't know how you talk about this episode without spoiling it.
That's why I said spoiler-free. It's fucking awesome. Yeah. There's a ton of reviews of this episode out there. Ours is really good, except you can't hear but every third word. So I'm super upset, but maybe we'll do a quick rundown next week before we get into the final.
Yeah, maybe we could do a half an hour one or something. And throw it up there.
But watch it if you want. A couple other things that we wanted to talk about. Katie Sackhoff is going to be on The Flash. It was announced today. She's going to be a villain called Amulet Black. I'm trying to read my notes.
Yeah.
AKA the Blacksmith. She's a crime boss, kind of the leader of the black market. She uses metahumans and everybody else kind of as a thing. I'm just super excited that she got a job after Longmire.
Yeah, they just wrapped up
They
Longmire
they
too,
just
right?
like a month and a half ago or 2 months ago or something like that.
So that's awesome.
And she's gonna have a reoccurring role as this villain, but she doesn't show up till episode 5.
Yeah.
So they'll be getting close to. We didn't really start appreciating Katie Sackhoff until she was here for Phoenix Comic-Con, and we caught like the second half of her panel. We didn't know. We didn't know at that point in time. We were still learning. But she was here, and we caught the second half of her panel because we were going in. We wanted good seats for the next panel.
Yeah.
And you don't have to. There's not a line for panels here, at least not yet.
Unless you're Dick Van Dyke.
So we went and watched the second half of her panel. She was amazing.
Yeah.
And then we got home and we watched like the first the first season, at least for you. I've watched up to the third season of Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah.
And then we started like, oh, this chick's badass.
Yeah.
She's awesome. And then she's
I've watched all of Longmire that's out there.
Yeah, and then she was one of the hosts on Schmo's No Show.
Yeah.
For a long time until she got the job with Longmire and she had to move to Santa Fe and stuff.
Yeah.
But we're really happy for her. That's really awesome. And her boyfriend is Carl Urban.
Who
they met here.
The reason why we were sitting through the second half of hers was to see Carl Urban, who came on after her. So we're taking claim that Phoenix Comic-Con is the reason why the two of them got together.
Till somebody tells us differently. We saw Logan Lucky. I'll do I'll set the review at the end of this movie. At the end of this is a movie. Right? End of this vlog.
Starring us.
Ta-da! It only made $7.6 million this weekend.
Yes. Now, but the number one was Hitman's Bodyguard, and that was 21 million.
Yeah.
So people just did not go to the movies this weekend.
First week of school. It's got to be the first week of school. It's August.
And so I did hear today, you probably heard this too, that Steven Soderbergh, because this is his thing.
It's his
baby all the way.
Bleecker Street? Is that his production company?
Maybe.
I think Bleecker Street's his.
That he's in charge of or paying for the marketing as well, and so he has chosen not to do, because I mean I don't think I guess we've seen a couple commercials for it.
Maybe there were some in theater, like posters and
there
was that big cardboard. I put it on Instagram. I put the big,
but that was the first time we'd heard of it, was when we saw that big cutout. And so he apparently is going to market more after the fact, kind of now that it's out, and kind of get the slow trickle instead of
nothing's really coming out for the next couple of weeks. So maybe if we can get some.
Yeah, I mean, I guess it worked for Baby Driver.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. We liked it, but we talked about in our review about how we really liked it, but it's hard to put it in the same category as some of the other Baby Driver and Dunkirk and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
So our rating maybe is not as high as maybe some other people's, but it's really hard for us to put it in relation to those other movies.
Yeah.
But everybody else who I've heard talk about it loves it. Like nobody hates it. Like
and I liked it, and I want to see it again.
Yeah. We're into heist. I really love heist movies, so I'm definitely in.
Well, and I thought about it afterwards, because we did kind of rate it lower than. I mean, we really like Ocean's 11. We've watched it probably so many times that we've had to buy a new one, and can quote pretty much the whole movie.
Most of the movie, yeah.
There's a lot of quotables in Ocean's 11. And a lot of, so Brad Pitt's character eats through the entire thing. Every time you see him,
Rusty's
you see Rusty,
yeah.
He's eating something. And I kind of feel like that was what we missed, that wasn't in there. Mm-hmm. And maybe it was.
Maybe it was, and we just missed it.
And we were busy dealing with people talking in the movie theater.
Yeah.
There is a special place in hell for people who talk
in the theater. Yep.
So.
Yep, absolutely. So we might have to watch it again. Now, if we bought that $10 thing a month, we could go see it again.
We could go see it every day of the week.
And maybe actually understand a little bit better. And then the other thing about the box office this weekend, Wonder Woman passed $800 million. So not as good as BVS worldwide, but it's second highest. It's the second highest grossing outside of Beauty and the Beast. And Patty Jenkins.
It hasn't even come out in DVD yet. So
I know. And Patty Jenkins is pretty close to signing her deal, and it'll make her the highest paid female director ever, and it'll be equivalent to all the male directors in the comic book movie universe. And that's exactly the way it should be.
That's good. And can we now stop making that comparison that you're the highest paid woman? How about just
the highest paid director
person? Yes.
That's all we want. That's all we want.
Yeah.
This conversation is dumb to me because if you get you pay the person what they're worth. She has proved that she is worth this.
Right. Male, female.
It doesn't matter.
Purple. I don't care.
Purple hair and gold skin.
Sure.
And one last thing before the end. Super Troopers 2 release date is April 20th.
License and registration, meow.
That's right. Super Troopers 2 on 420. If there's not a 420 showtime somewhere, we're going to have issues.
I'd like a liter of cola, please.
And it was crowdfunded, so I mean, come on.
That's awesome.
So what do you guys think of this episode of the Pop Culture Cult? We did a lot of review of the Defenders and Sense8 because of the things we binged over the weekend, and I hope you're, like we are, excited about Katie Sackhoff being on Flash, because, I mean, come on, Flash is awesome, and then Katie gets to be on it. It's awesome. Man, I wonder if the Schmoes guys would show up on Flash. That would be awesome if they just kind of be guys in the background.
It could be minions, her little henchmen.
Yeah. That would be fantastic. Please like and comment on this video. Please, please, please subscribe to the YouTube channel or the YouTube channel. And you can also get a hold of us on Facebook at the Pop Culture Cult. We're Pop Culture Cult 1 on Instagram, and we're at Pop_Cult1 on Twitter. Please like and subscribe to all of our pages, and please download the Stardust app on your iOS or your Google Play Store thingies, however the kids are wording it nowadays. Download the app, set up your account, like the Pop Culture Cult first, and then go out and like Schmoes and Late to the Party and all your friends and whatever, and react and all the stupid stuff that we're watching.
Yes.
Say goodnight, John Boy. Say goodnight, John Boy.
Good night,
Good night now.